What is up? What is up, the Steam blockchain? Today I want to talk about. So I did a video that was called. It was called "Looking Beyond Wealth." So I uploaded this both to the Steam blockchain and to Whale Shares, and I got two great comments on this post. And this was basically the post looking beyond wealth of the paradigm shift I see sort of is going to happen. And that video is on YouTube. And I got two great comments. First one was from Indigo Ocean, and then I got another great comment here from Denmark guy, and they basically inspired me to do this video talking a little bit about the new economic paradigm that I mean, there's more people starting to see this, that the current paradigm that we're in about consumption and all that, it's sort of coming to an end, where we can see that the output of goods, the output of services, is getting to such an abundant state that that eventually the way people look at the economy, the way people look at production, the way people look at their life, all this is sort of it's entering a new paradigm. Okay, so I want to read these two comments here. The first one from Indigo Ocean said, maybe decades out we'll see a world of such abundance for most people, but the coming years I think will bring the exact opposite. Of course, global economic contraction, when so many people are already struggling, could cause more people to opt out completely and find some way of living off the land, assuming they can even afford reliable access to arable land and water. But in the long run, I do agree with your vision of an overall trajectory toward more abundance and well-being. Oddly, I retired earlier this year thinking I was going to now have this much more expensive life. What I'm finding is that my own lack of need for money is causing me to be more aware of the need in others and committed to helping them prepared for the coming financial crisis. So instead of being able to use the freedom to stop thinking about money, I'm thinking about it more than ever, wanting to help those around me to create abundance regardless of what is happening in the main economic system. Ironic, hey? But eventually this phase will end. My dog, who keeps me tied to one place, will reach the end of her lifespan, and then I'll probably start traveling. Then I will be more engrossed in all the new experiences, and then I can definitely see the thought of money fading into the background. In the meantime, I guess I've been put in this place so that I can be part of the financial freedom of others. So I love that comment. I wanted to include it in the video. Such a good comment. And then I got another comment here from Denmark guy. I would agree that eventually we would grow to a place where abundance becomes an experience and existence-based idea rather than our current object and material-based paradigm. Like Indigo Ocean, I find that I need less and less money as I keep redefining what is important and unplug from old paradigms. And with that comes experience of being labeled crazy rather than something more positive. But that could be my age group too. I'm 58. The question though is, how do we allow the current economic paradigm to fail? Because I think it has to, if we are to progress. And humans, especially those who perceive themselves as holding power, will tend to cling to every last straw of the old ways rather than adapt and change. The human condition has always been about adapt and change, yet there's more resistance to it than ever, it seems. Ironically, it often seems that people want to use the new technologies to buy more time with the old power structures. That's why I say eventually, because I don't expect to see that world in my lifetime, but I feel hopeful that my grandkids will live in it. Maybe it's just a long process. We have to wait for generation shift. So a great comment there from Denmark guy also. So both these amazing comments, long, deep, in depth. So yeah, I mean, clearly it is an economic paradigm shift because we see the output, the output of basically goods and services is always increasing, and it basically makes it so people have more access to stuff, right? People have more access to goods and services because the cost of it is always going down because there is more being produced, right? So I'm just gonna see if I still record. Yes, I do. So my experience, for example, how I have seen this sort of evolve. So I've been basically producing tech videos on YouTube the last 10 years, mainly focusing on smartphones, buying latest phones, and making unboxing videos and showcasing new smartphones, showing it to people. And smartphones has been a big key in our world, and it's a big key right now in our life because most people are using their phone as like their caveman stick, right? It's your gadget that lets you connect to everyone else and basically be connected to this power network where your smartphone is the tool that basically is one of the main tools that allows abundance because it allows information to spread faster, and now that we're implementing this monetary system in the whole with the phones, and yeah, we're not just having the content layer, but we're introducing a monetary layer, which is going to bring true abundance. So, I mean, I can see the production value, the production of new phones, how much is being pumped out to people, and that it eventually makes it so every material and object thing is going to be basically free or extremely cheap. So I can see my collection of phones. I just did a few things on YouTube, bought a few phones, and I can see that the leverage, like the value that I got from the views, allowed me to buy more phones. And just a couple of years later, I have a ton of these gadgets. And I know that if I have the abundance right now already of all these gadgets, it eventually is going to reach the masses, because abundance starts, first it reaches only a few people. So I have like reached material abundance when it comes to like gadgets, and I can like see how, well, if I can have this many phones already, it's only a question, like it's soon eventually transportation, phones, all the object things are basically going to be sort of free, right? It's going that direction. We can see how driverless cars are starting to be a thing. People are not going to buy their car in the future because transportation is going to be so cheap. The last couple of years we've seen Uber take a bigger role in that, and soon we're going to have autonomous cars, and car ownership is going to sort of be dead 2025 from what I've seen. We've seen Airbnb that lowers the cost of a place to stay at when you travel in the world, and we see how everything, the cost of every material and object thing is going down. So what is going to happen is then that people don't have to spend a lot of their hard-earned value on stuff, basically, because it's going to be more of a rent and share economy. So if we can do this thing with physical objects, of course we can do it then in the digital world with tokens, because clearly producing something digital is way easier than producing something physical because it can be automated, right? So we're starting to see that the last 2 years with the graphene blockchains, especially, how they can produce so much value. It can produce value automated systems that can basically instead of having a monopoly of just a few be able to issue out value, you can have digital systems that can produce value automatically and then allow people to create a community around it. So the digital space is way newer, of course, compared to the physical space, but we can see that the digital space is it's making fast moves now every year. It's making really fast moves. So we're moving into a phase where both the physical abundance and digital abundance is going to be big parts of this economic paradigm shift. And just as this comment is saying, I think so too, that maybe it's just a slow process. We have to wait for generation shifts. Yeah, I totally think that as well, that it's going to take a couple of years, but I don't think it's that far away, because we can see how with automated systems, things, especially in the digital world, it's going to happen faster and faster. But it truly is a paradigm shift, because jobs has been a big thing the last 100 years or so. You can even say longer, but it has been a big thing in people's life that people have spent most of their energy at their job, and it's also been their way of creating social connections. But now it does seem like the first way we're gonna sort of evolve, it seems at least, is that we're gonna have these digital jobs. But eventually I sort of feel that the abundance is gonna reach such a high level that the digital job aspect is not even going to be needed anymore, because you're gonna have such an abundance of stuff. And I don't think it has to change society in a radical way, but most of the stuff is going to be sort of the same in many ways. But what people are going to detect, I think they're going to get more awareness of, is that they used to have more time over. And this is something that has been happening over a longer period of time. I mean, even in the 1950s, people have many free hours in a day where they could invest that a little bit in whatever way they want. But now, just because you can connect digitally, you can spend more of that time to produce some kind of value, let's say a token value or something like that. So the question then comes in, when people have all this abundance of human energy over, and they have an abundance of token-based systems, it does need to happen. You do need some paradigm shift, because I feel that a lot of people, as this comment is saying, a lot of people is going to be stuck in the object and material based paradigm, where it is sort of hard to, either humans sort of need to evolve into a new paradigm, or they sort of have to regress. And I think that it might be a short period of regress, or maybe a large part of population might regress. But I think that, I mean, we do see that we're gonna have a world with like, people want to enjoy stuff right now. They want to have pleasure. They want to have fun. We sort of see that a lot of use of medical pills, a lot of that is going up. And even though abundance also will be going up, if you don't give people a new paradigm shift, if you don't have really an answer to what people are going to do with a lot of their abundance of energy, we're probably going to evolve in many ways. Extreme abundance, but also that can also lead to extreme overuse of medical stuff, and a lot of people might not be satisfied. And I mean, it's very hard to say exactly how it's going to evolve, but people probably have to find a way to work together with other people. We're starting to see it a little bit in the blockchain space. I mean, people are starting to communicate a bit. I mean, we have noticed that these tokens really help people to communicate, or to build a little bit deeper trust and relationships. We're not perfect at it, because we've only been doing this for a couple of years. But I see that instead of just communicating with humans and then move on to something else, I see that once you share a token with someone, you sort of is getting connected with that person. It's becoming a longer partnership, let's say, how if you make these massive value networks, it's not just about the content, it actually becomes a tool to build up higher leverage with trust and relationships in a global way. And yeah, I mean, just as this earlier comment said about, or from Indigo Ocean, it does seem like a big role for a lot of token holders. A big way they're gonna feel they have purpose is to help other people come up in a higher level of economic abundance. And I think that that is a big purpose, or I think that that can be a big thing that is going to make people feel significant as they get higher levels of abundance with tokens. It will be about connecting with other people, and even though it sounds very cheesy, it is kind of cool in many ways how humans finally can connect in a deeper way, and hopefully we can see a lot more love and care starting to evolve. And just because we're very new at this, I mean, even talking to a smartphone like I'm doing right now, this is very new. This is very and to be able to communicate in a global way. I mean, this is like the first time in evolution we can finally speak to someone across the world. So we're trying our best. Like we're trying to move towards something better, right? And it doesn't have to be perfect. If we just do like 0.5% each day, eventually you're gonna reach someplace, right? Eventually you're gonna reach someplace. So yeah, I wanted to do a video talking a little bit about it, what I see, but it seems like we're moving into a new economic paradigm where people are gonna have more time over, and digital abundance and physical abundance is gonna lead to people are gonna have to find a new paradigm, a new economic paradigm, and see what the new purpose is gonna be, right? So yeah, thanks for watching this video, Steem blockchain users. I might put this on Where Shares also. Yeah, have a great day, everyone. Bye bye.